The lights in the packed arena flicker for a split second, the air charged with an almost unbearable tension. The crowd roars, an ocean of anticipation swelling to its peak. Millions are watching, some from the edge of their seats, others barely breathing as the impossible prepares to unfold. Two warriors, legends forged in entirely different eras, step into the ring. One, a relentless force of nature whose punches once sent shockwaves through the heavyweight division. The other, a modern titan of power and precision, a wrecking machine built to dismantle anyone in his path. Mike Tyson, Francis Ngannou. A fight no one thought would ever happen until now. As the announcer's voice booms across the stadium, the sheer weight of history presses down on the ring. Tyson, the embodiment of raw aggression and technique, moves with a presence that defies time itself. His eyes, sharp and unyielding, scan the man before him, Ngannou, a behemoth sculpted by hardship, whose every strike carries the force of a wrecking ball. The world has seen legends before, but this is something different. It's a meeting of eras, a collision of two unstoppable forces. The question is no longer who wants it more. Both have proven their hunger countless times. The real question is, what happens when the immovable object meets the unstoppable force? The cameras pan across the ring, catching every bead of sweat, every twitch of anticipation. Tyson's presence alone commands silence from those who once doubted him. At 58, he's not here for nostalgia. He's here to prove that his power, his speed, his ruthless efficiency never truly faded. Across from him, Ngannou stands like a mountain, unmoved by pressure, a man whose life has been defined by survival. He respects Tyson, of course. Who doesn't? But respect won't stop him from throwing bombs, from turning this into a war. The bell hasn't even rung, yet the tension is suffocating. Commentators struggle to contain their excitement, their voices trembling with the sheer magnitude of what they're witnessing. This isn't just a fight, it's a moment in history, a spectacle that defies logic. Critics called it impossible. Fans called it a dream. But here they are, standing toe-to-toe, ready to answer the only question that truly matters. Who walks away victorious? Seconds stretch into eternity. The referee steps between them, going over the final instructions, but neither man is listening. Their eyes are locked, an unspoken understanding passing between them. This will not be a game of points. This will be a war. And then the bell rings. Tyson explodes forward. The world watches in disbelief. The first punch is thrown. But what happens next? No one is ready for it. Tyson's fist cuts through the air like a cannonball, a flash of muscle memory honed through decades of destruction. It's not just speed, it's a calculated execution, a brutal reminder that power never truly fades. Ngannou shifts instinctively, his body reacting before his mind does, the ghost of countless wars guiding his defense. The impact grazes his guard, but the force behind it is undeniable. Tyson isn't here to play. He's here to erase doubt. Ngannou fires back a right hand meant to end the conversation before it even begins. The punch lands, glancing off Tyson's temple, but the legend barely flinches. He's been here before. He's taken shots from men just as dangerous, maybe even more. The crowd erupts, voices lost in the storm of adrenaline, but inside the ring, the world narrows to just two men, two forces of nature testing the limits of their own survival. For years, fans debated what would happen if the best of different generations ever met inside the ropes. Theorists crunched numbers, analysts dissected styles, and armchair experts swore by their predictions. But none of that matters now. None of them feel the heat of the moment, the weight of history pressing down on every move. This isn't a dream match anymore. It's a war unfolding in real time, and neither man is willing to blink first. Tyson dips low, his signature peekaboo style as sharp as ever, his movements still eerily explosive. He weaves under a thunderous uppercut and fires a left hook to the ribs, the kind of shot that breaks wills. Ngannou grunts, feeling the power, but he stands his ground. He spent his entire life enduring pain, absorbing hardship, turning suffering into strength. His back has been against the wall before. This is nothing new. But Tyson is relentless. Another hook, then a sharp right hand, the kind that ended careers in seconds. Ngannou retreats a step, adjusting, calculating. He knew Tyson would be dangerous, but this is something else. The legend is faster than expected, sharper than the world was prepared for. There's no hesitation in his attack, no sign of age slowing him down. The ring, the gloves, the sweat, this is where Tyson belongs, and even after all these years, it's clear he never truly left. The crowd senses it. This isn't just an exhibition, not just a spectacle for nostalgia's sake. This is real. Outside the ropes, a storm brews beyond the fight itself. Analysts scramble for words, some stunned into silence, others trying to piece together how Tyson is doing this. Commentators who once dismissed the fight as a fantasy now stammer, their voices laced with disbelief. In the VIP section, faces from different corners of the fight world watch with unreadable expressions, some legends of the past, some rising stars of the present. But all of them, no matter how great, can feel the gravity of what's unfolding. Behind the scenes, whispers spread like wildfire. The sports power players, promoters, executives, the unseen hands that pull the strings watch with a mixture of fascination and unease. If Tyson wins, what does that mean? If Ngannou dominates, does it change the way generations are measured? The stakes, once assumed to be just entertainment, now stretch far beyond the ropes. And yet, inside the ring, none of that matters. Only survival does. Ngannou adjusts his stance, his eyes narrowing. If Tyson wants a war, so be it. He starts cutting off the ring, using his sheer size to press forward. Tyson, always the predator, now finds himself being hunted. The energy shifts. Ngannou launches another bomb. This one lands flush. Tyson staggers, just for a heartbeat. But in a fight like this, a heartbeat is an eternity. The arena holds its breath. Tyson steadies himself, a flicker of something dangerous flashing across his face. Not fear. Not hesitation. Something else. Something Ngannou recognizes too well. A challenge. Neither man speaks, but in that split second, a silent agreement is made. They're just getting started. The impact of Ngannou's punch lingers in the air like an aftershock, a moment that shouldn't exist yet, somehow does. Tyson shakes it off, his expression unreadable, but the crowd sees it. That was the first real crack in the armor. For a man who spent his life defying limits, standing up from the impossible, this is yet another test. And the only response Tyson knows is to fight back. He plants his feet, rolling his shoulders as if shedding the moment's weight, then lunges forward with a left hook designed to leave a mark. Ngannou is ready. He leans back just enough, the punch skimming past his chin, and fires a counter, a vicious uppercut, aimed to rattle bones. Tyson barely evades it, weaving to the side, but he's forced to step back, a rare retreat. For the first time, doubt creeps into the minds of those watching. Tyson's movements are still sharp, his aggression still lethal, but Ngannou isn't just absorbing damage, he's adapting. The younger fighter isn't reckless. He's methodical, reading Tyson's patterns, recalibrating in real time. And that's when something shifts. Ngannou stops chasing. Instead, he starts baiting. The footwork changes, the stance becomes more measured, and suddenly Tyson isn't dictating the pace anymore. The predator is being studied. The crowd doesn't fully grasp it at first, but those who've spent years around the fight game see it clearly. Ngannou isn't just trying to survive. He's setting something up. Tyson notices it too. His instincts, forged in the heat of some of the most brutal battles in boxing history, scream a warning. He knows this rhythm, this feeling. It's the same trap he once set for others. Ngannou isn't just throwing punches anymore. He's waiting. The realization comes a fraction too late. Tyson steps in to throw another hook, but the moment he commits, Ngannou strikes, not with power, but with precision. A perfectly timed right hand crashes into Tyson's jaw. Not a wild haymaker, but a sniper shot aimed to disrupt everything. The effect is instant. Tyson stumbles not from sheer force, but from the shock of being caught off balance. His body betrays him for the briefest second, his knee dipping toward the canvas before he catches himself. The stadium erupts. It's not a knockdown, but it might as well be. Tyson, the man who always walked through fire, just came dangerously close to touching the mat. Ngannou sees it. He doesn't celebrate, doesn't rush in carelessly. Instead, he locks eyes with Tyson, and for the first time, there's something new there, not just respect, not just focus. Understanding. They both know what this means. But before either man can make their next move, something unexpected happens. A loud crack echoes through the arena, not from a punch, but from outside the ring. The crowd stirs, confusion rippling through the stands as security scrambles toward the far end of the venue. Someone is shouting. A commotion breaks out near the entrance. Even the commentators hesitate, their voices faltering as the chaos unfolds. Tyson and Ngannou exchange a glance, both breathing heavy, both momentarily pulled from the battle. Then, out of nowhere, the arena plunges into darkness. A collective gasp fills the air, followed by an eerie silence. For the first time since the fight began, the roar of the crowd is gone. The only sound is the distant hum of emergency lights flickering to life, casting long, distorted shadows across the ring. Something isn't right. Tyson shifts his stance instinctively, his warrior's mind refusing to lower its guard. Ngannou does the same, his massive frame barely illuminated by the dim glow. No one knows what just happened. No one knows what's coming next. And then, just as suddenly as the darkness fell, a single spotlight beams down on the ring. The fight isn't over, but neither man knows what they're about to face. The sharp beam of the spotlight cuts through the darkness, casting eerie, stretched shadows of both fighters against the ring canvas. Tyson shifts his weight, muscles coiled, mind racing. Ngannou, standing just a few feet away, doesn't flinch, his breathing steady despite the surreal turn of events. Neither man moves, yet both are ready. The crowd, still shrouded in near darkness, murmurs in confusion. Security scrambles along the arena floor, their radios crackling, but no clear orders come through. Something about this moment feels wrong. Then, from the edge of the ring, a figure appears. A man in a suit, his presence as unexpected as the blackout itself. He steps onto the apron, his expression unreadable, his movements slow, deliberate. The energy in the arena shifts. Whatever this is, it wasn't part of the show. The referee hesitates, glancing toward ringside officials, but they look just as bewildered. Ngannou and Tyson exchange a look, a silent agreement passing between them. Whatever's happening, they're not letting it interfere with what they came here to do. The fight isn't over. The man in the suit raises a microphone, his voice calm but heavy with authority. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a situation. Silence. Then, with a measured breath, he continues. The Nevada State Athletic Commission has just received information that changes the nature of this fight. Effective immediately, this bout is no longer sanctioned. The words slam into the arena like a punch to the chest. The crowd erupts, not in cheers, but in pure, raw disbelief. Commentators scramble for explanations, their voices stumbling over half-formed thoughts. No one understands. What does he mean? Tyson's expression hardens, his fists still clenched. Ngannou tilts his head slightly, his gaze unreadable. The official doesn't flinch. This is no longer a professional contest. If you continue to fight, it will be on your own terms. That single sentence changes everything. A choice stands before them. Walk away. Let the confusion and controversy overshadow everything they've built, or finish what they started, not for titles, not for legacy, but for the fight itself. Tyson exhales through his nose, a slow, steady breath. His entire life has been defined by battles inside and outside the ring. He didn't come here for politics. He came here to fight. Ngannou gives a small nod, barely perceptible, but Tyson catches it. Then, without another word, they move. Tyson explodes forward, a left hook tearing through the space between them. Ngannou counters, but Tyson slips just under it, the years melting away in an instant. The crowd, despite the chaos, roars back to life. No belts, no contracts, no judges, just two warriors settling something that words never could. The punches come faster now, both men digging into a part of themselves that few have ever reached. Ngannou lands a body shot that makes Tyson's ribs scream, but the legend doesn't stop. He comes over the top with a right hand that snaps Ngannou's head back. Sweat flies, the ring shakes, and still neither man falls. Seconds stretch into minutes, but time has lost all meaning. Every strike is personal. Every exchange is a challenge. And then, suddenly, it happens. Ngannou feints left, Tyson bites. It's the opening Ngannou was waiting for. The uppercut comes from the depths of his soul, rising like a thunderbolt aimed at history itself. It lands. Tyson's head snaps back, his legs falter. The unthinkable is happening. He stumbles, trying to reset, but his body betrays him. Gravity takes hold. For the first time in decades, Mike Tyson is going down. The moment stretches into eternity. The roar of the crowd vanishes. The only thing left is the sound of gloves brushing canvas as Tyson braces against the fall. His knee touches the mat, and then he stops. Somehow, impossibly, Tyson steadies himself. One knee down, head lowered, breath ragged, but his hands are still clenched into fists. The official at ringside, now completely powerless, watches in disbelief. Ngannou steps back, waiting. He knows better than to celebrate. Then, slowly, Tyson lifts his head. His eyes meet Ngannou's, and he smiles. Not a smirk, not bravado. A genuine warrior's smile, the kind that only men who've walked through fire can share. Then, with deliberate precision, Tyson plants his foot, pushes off the canvas and stands. The entire world watches, breath held, as the two men step toward each other. But they don't throw another punch. Instead, they touch gloves. The fight is over. Not by stoppage, not by knockout, not by a referee's decision, but because both men know. There's nothing left to prove. The lights return, the stadium coming back to life, but nothing feels the same. No belts were won. No judges scored the fight. And yet, somehow, it was greater than any championship match in history. As Tyson and Ngannou leave the ring, the crowd still on its feet, one undeniable truth remains. Legends aren't measured by records. They're measured by moments. And this was a moment the world would never forget.